So I'm Joe Williams. This is my wife, Rachel Williams. We've been coming to Jacobswell for almost 2.5 years now.
Well, when we first got married, Joey was like 2 months later. He was like, FYI, someday I want to move our family to Africa, and I want to do foster care. And I was like, I don't want to do either of those things. And but my parents were great parents, and they taught me just pray you get on the same page. So I started praying God would change one of our hearts, and it was mine.
So we started looking at adoption in 2007.
Yep.
Because we were having difficulty having biological children. And while we were in Chicago, we were introduced to this great organization called Safe Families.
So then we had 8 foster safe family kids through the next 2.5 years. And then while through that process we were trying to adopt a child, and then that brought us our daughter Ada. Well, Joey had been wanting to get back into doing youth group for a while. We had been doing it off and on through our whole marriage, and he was like, now's the time, and I was like, no, it's not the time. We were doing foster care, we had this little baby, and our other kids were like 1 and 3, and I was like, this is not the right time. You're just gonna have to wait a whole school year. And he was, Joey's really gentle, and he was like, no, now's the time.
I've always felt like I was called to do youth ministry, and I started helping out with youth ministry with high school with John Eisel about just over a year ago. John and I had known each other before, and we were always talking, and he always wanted me to come help out, but finally I bit the bullet and decided it was time, even though there's probably never a perfect time. So Randy I met, we were sitting outside, it was either before or after youth group, just having a cup of coffee, and he was telling his friends about how he was in the National Guard. That was probably like 2 weeks or so before Planet Wisdom. So Planet Wisdom, kind of like a lot of the youth group retreats, it gets you in contact with these kids. Randy was one of the 4 kids that I was, in a sense, assigned to, so we just had a lot more meaningful conversations. I got to learn his story, which basically that he, in a sense, was homeless, living from friend to friend, and still amazingly going to school, and just the drive that he had really amazed me.
When he came home, he's like, you gotta hear this story. So he's just like, I just need to tell you about this kid, and he'd see he just really loved him, and his heart was just really broken for him, and we need to pray about adopting him. Those were the words he used. And I was like, yes we do. And he's like, we need to pray about adopting him. And I was like, no, we need to adopt him. And he was like, you don't even know him. And I was like, I don't care, we need to adopt him. He needs a family. Sometimes in life when God calls you to do something and you just know, it's just what you're supposed to do.
But initially we were like, well, we can't adopt him, he's 18. And then come to find out, no, you can actually adopt somebody at that age, and it's actually easier at that point. So I was thinking, well, what the heck's holding us back then? And it seemed like God was just paving the way for us.